Thank you so much, Pak Henry Thomas, for moderating the third session of the symposiums. Also for the speakers, thank you so much for the insightful material that you have shared to us. And comes the time to us to move to the last but not least sessions, which is the fourth sessions of the symposium. We have the topic about Austronesian diaspora and legacy, which we have speakers. The first speakers we have Dr. Makibi Nakano from Tokyo University. I hope you are ready to join us here. Hello,
Yes.
Miss Makibi.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay, thank you. Nice to meet you. And then the second, we have Prof. Herawati Sudoyo from Mokhtar Yadi Institute.
Yes, I'm here.
Thank you, Prof. Herawati. And then the next, we have Dr. Chandra Nuraini from La Rochelle University, France.
Yes, hello.
Nice to meet you. And then we have Sir Veda Santiaji from conservation practitioner in Southeast Asia.
Hello, good
Okay, that's
afternoon.
Santiaji. Thank you, Pak, for joining us. And also, our moderator for the first session, Dr. Adrian Perkasa.
Hi, hello everyone. Thank you, Mbak Bunga, for introducing me.
Yeah, okay. So to make it short, let's go to the fourth sessions. Mr. Adrian Perkasa, as the moderator, time is yours. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning, good day, or even good evening, everyone. I'm Adrian Perkasa from KIT LV, the Royal Netherlands Institute of Southeast Asian and Caribbean Studies. I'm really very proud to be a moderator as in the closing session or the last session of this first international symposium of SINOMEDS IS in Southeast Asia with the session called Austronesian Diaspora and Legacy. So as you already, for some of you, if you already follow these symposiums in the first time, and maybe I'm not really explaining all the guidelines, but at least we will hear all the explanation and lecture talk from the four of the speakers. And then if you have any questions, you can actually write since the first lecture or since the first talk in the chat room. And then after all the speakers deliver their talk, we can start the Q&A or the discussion session. And for all the speakers, yeah, we have 15 minutes each, and hopefully after that we can have a full discussion. And for the first speaker, I will introduce the first speaker of the sessions, Dr. Makabi Nakano, from Toyo University. She is an anthropologist specializing in the environmental cognition of maritime people. Her principal works include technology of seeing the sea, fishing, and environmental cognition of the Sama Bajau people of the Banggai Islands, Indonesia, Kyoto University Press, currently in printing. Outer sea fishing and spatial cognition of the Sama Bajau people in the Banggai Islands, Indonesia, in Asian Africa area studies the ecological cognition of Sama Bajau people in the Banggai Islands, Indonesia, indigenous classification of fish, fishing grounds, and landmarks of outer sea fishing in Japanese Journal of Southeast Asian Studies in 2021. Astronomical knowledge in squid fishing on Sado Island in Japan in the Journal of Kokugakuin University in 2021. And then a study of classification of the seasons by Sama Bajau fishermen from 4 cases in the Banggai Island, Indonesia, a research paper of the Anthropological Institutes, and many more. And for this talk, she will present the seasonal calendar of Sama Bajau people challenges and opportunities. Without further ado, Dr. Makabi Nakano, the screen is yours.
Okay. Can I share my slide? Because now I request you. Can I share my slide?
Yes, I think So,
Because
operator,
It's
is you-
right.
operator, can you help? Yeah.
yeah, okay. Okay. So wait a moment, please. Okay. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Perfect.
Okay, thank you for introducing. I'm Makibi Nakano from Toyo University, Japan. And actually, my title is different with that on the poster because of like a technical problem. So my title is this one, Maritime Navigation in the Archipelagic Seas, focusing on the spatial cognition of the Sama Baja people of the Banggai Islands, Indonesia. So next, please. So here is the background of this study because I'm an ecological anthropologist. So today's presentation is about traditional ecological knowledge. So when we think about how the technologies, including fishing knowledge, have been utilized, we can classify into three important aspects. I mean, instruments, physical knowledge, and ecological knowledge. And these physical skills and ecological skills compose the base of life and culture of people. In a traditional society, it can be said these skills were the main indigenous technologies because the instruments were not be developed. However, modernization in these days made a dramatic development of instruments. So in contrast, it made indigenous local technologies old and unnecessary. Therefore, I think I have to record these indigenous and local technologies being extinct. Next, please. On the other side, there are some problems from a point of the research of Sama Baja people or sea people. Firstly, the previous researchers about Sama Baja people sometimes lack of attention of fishing activity itself and their environmental recognition on the background. Secondly, the studies of Sama Baja people mainly focused in the prominent cover reef area or shallow reef area. And finally, I can indicate that these studies about fishing knowledge tends to focus only in a part of fishermen, such as the fishermen in Oceania, I mean Micronesia or Polynesia, and in Southeast Asia, like Bugis in Indonesia, as you know, or the typical Sama Baja people in coral reef area, as I mentioned. Next. Then, in this study, I would like to show a data of a present condition of fishing activity by Sama Baja people living in non-coral reef area, like archipelagic seas, and also review their environmental recognition. Next. Before talking about this study, I would like to explain briefly an overview about Sama people. Sama people, maybe already everyone mentioned, one of the ethnic groups had been discussed as the Sinomas. In the east and southeast of Asia, there are some kinds of ethnic group of the Sinomas. So this figure shows that only Sama Baja people live on the scattered areas across three countries, Philippines, Malaysia, and Indonesia. In old days, they live on the boat, but now already almost moved to the land or the house on the sea. The remarkable characteristic point was said that they live in the coral reef area and utilize coastal resources. But are all Sama Baja people really live in the coral reef area and fishing typically? So let me start talking about another area. Next. So this is my research site, K Village in Banggai Islands Prefecture, Central Sulawesi, Indonesia. There are no abundant coral reef area. According to the previous study, K Village is the second largest population of Sama Baja people in Banggai cluster. Next. So here is the picture of K Village. So beautiful village. Next. I would like to explain just briefly about K Village. The people, especially living on the sea, engage into fishing mainly or working as a broker or processor of marine products. The pictures as below show some works of them, like net fishing, sea cucumber, like that. Next. Here is the method of my study. I interviewed in Indonesian and also in Samabajau language. In addition, a retired fisherman assisted me. Next. So here is a list of fishing activities in K Village. Maybe it's too small. In this study, I indicated focusing on roughly 5 kinds of methods. From the first one, net fishing, bomb, long line fishing for general fish or sharks, and hand line fishing, including simple hand line fishing and also artificial bite fishing for general fish or octopuses, and also skin diving using spear gun or spear, or just catching by instruments. So today, the most general method in K Village is hand line fishing. Thank you. Here is a list of fishing method of the informants. 15 skilled fishermen. Generally, fishermen in K Village use some kinds of fishing ways as shown, or some kinds of the hand line fishing, for example. Next. Then, what kind of the fishing sports they use? So there are at least 29 sports and 4 types of fishing sports. Firstly, Lana is the shallow as a flat bank surrounded by the edge. And Chimpusu is the place like Lana, but smaller and deeper. I explain these 2 landforms in detail later. Pamangan means the place to fish, and each sports have a different landform. And the last, Pangili is the large place with a flat mountain like Lana in the open sea. Next. So here is the map of fishing spots which they use by fishermen in K Village. Next. So during one fishing trip, they usually change the fishing spots for 2 or 3 times like this case. Next. And firstly, I would like to show you 3 schematic diagrams. This figure shows the position of the saved transaction of figure 1 and 2, and the third figure is elsewhere in the open sea. Next. The first, here is a schematic diagram of transaction 1 from present settlements to previous settlements of K Village. There are present settlements and there are shallows called as bonging. It appears even during high tide. And maybe you can show Sapa in the right. Sapa is a coral reef area that appears during the ebb tide and sinks during high tide. And Tembo is an area of certain kinds of rock. And all of these areas included to Darak. Although this word darat in Indonesian means the land, it includes the land and some of the sea areas, characteristic of which is close to the land in their recognition. Next. And here is another one of transaction 2 from opposite shore of K Village to the open sea. From the land side, you can show you can see there are Sidi Gusoh, it means sandy beach, and Sidi Batu, and it means rock reef area. And also there are Sapa and Bonging, and beyond them, the bottom gradually downs to be deep. Here is named Silah. From the land to Silah, they are included to Darat likewise. And Silah is included to Dilao. It means all of the sea area except for Darat. Next. And here is another one in the open sea area. There are some shallow as the bank surrounded by edges. That is good for fishing. So this is Lana. The bottom is flat and the edge is good spot for fishing. And Timpusu is the small one. Timpusu is smaller and deeper than Lana. And Pangiri is in the center. Pangiri is the bottom of which is flat and far large from Lana. And sometimes these shallows are on the larger shallows called as Tanah. And Tanah is almost same with like an insular shelf. The sea areas excluding Lana, Timpusu, and Pangiri is Silla. But the term Silla has some meanings. One meaning is the whole area with absence of coral reef area or Darak, Lana, Timpusu, or Pangiri, as I mentioned. And the other is that the area with absence of all of Tanah. So in this context, Lana, Timpusu, and Pangiri is not included to Silla. They are included to Tanah. I guess that beyond a coral reef area or Darak, all area excluding fishing sport is like a route for fishing they cognize. So finally, the term includes Tanah and Silla. In other words, the sea area excluding Darak is Dilao. There were no words that include Darak and Dilao. The term Darak and Dilao are similar to the Indonesian words Darat and Laut, meaning meaning land and the sea in English. However, they differ from them. Next. So here is a list of this classification. Next. Here is also the list of these for classification, but I would like to show you some pictures to know in detail. Next. The picture number 1 is Bunging, and number 2 and number 3 are Sapa, and number 4 is Tembo Walk. Next. And this map shows that fishermen in K Village, handline fishermen in K Village, will be recognized in detail based on this folk classification. This fisherman drew this map on fishing spots with topographic landmarks. You can see some words to call, or it means reef blocks or small islands. And actually, they are also important landmarks for fishing. Next. So I'd like to discuss some points from comparison with previous studies about sea people. Compared with typical Samabajo people, for classification of coral reef area is not so detailed in K Village. And firstly, Nagatsu mentioned that Samabajo people in coral reef area have a surface-based understanding because they know about sea sport around coral reef, but not so detailed about that depth and another landmarks on the land or sky, such as rocks, mountains, and stars. So he said surface-based understanding. And he also said about their space cognition. They classified into land-like space and sea-like space, but they are fluid in each case. Next. On the other hand, about the case in K Village, non-coral reef area, firstly, their recognition is detailed in local, but surrounding area is not so detailed. It can be said like sports-based understanding, differ from the surface-based understanding. Next. And secondly, the recognition of land and sea was not as like a dichotomous as conventionally understood. It can be classified into 3 types of space: land-like space and sea-like space, and world or way-like space. Next. So at last, as a conclusion, if Samabajo people's settlements different characteristics, their space cognition also different. Today, they face the environmental social problems such as tsunami or earthquake and population increase and more. So it will cause more modification of settlements, fishing activity, So it means space cognition too. Therefore, I think it is needed to consider them from various aspects. So that's all for my presentation. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. Really interesting and very rich explanation about the maritime navigation. And yeah, and very punctual. Thank you for keeping the time. And now we are going to the second speaker of today. The second speaker of today is Professor Herawati Sudoyo. I will introduce you in a bit. Professor Herawati Sudoyo. She is a senior scientist and principal investigator of the Human Genome Diversity and Disease Division at the Mokhtar Yadi Institute for Nanotechnology, affiliated with Pelita Harapan University, UPH in Indonesia. Her academic background includes a medical degree from the University of Indonesia, Jakarta, and a PhD in biochemistry and molecular biology from Monash University, Australia. She is also a chairperson of the Medical Science Commission of the Indonesian Academy of Sciences to advocate for the integration of medical science into public health and policy, focus on advancing research in molecular pathology, human genetic diversity, and disease epidemiology. She is a founding member of the Asia Pacific Society of Human Genetics and the Indonesian Biorisk Association, and serve on the advisory boards of various organizations, including the Indonesian Society of Human Genetics and the Indonesian Genomic Association, as well as other health-related NGOs. I hope this is a very brief introduction of Professor Herawati. Now I'm inviting Professor Herawati to present her talk. Professor Herawati, time is yours.
Thank you very much, Mas Moderator. First of all, I would like to thank the organizer for inviting me to share our experience and results of our study on the last xenomads of the Indonesian archipelago as part of larger study of the genome diversity in Indonesia. My talk will focus on how the genomics data can be used to answer several important questions regarding the reconstruction of the origin or dispersal of the Bajo in Indonesia. Of course, I would like to greet you all. Good day for everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Indonesia, home to remarkable human diversity, it's remained largely understudied in genomic research. So my talk will be completely different with any talks that have been given to my colleague, the anthropologist. I'm working on genetics to answer many questions. So the archipelago, we know already, it consists of over 16,000 islands, inhabited by hundreds of ethnic groups, and speaking, I think, more than 700 languages. And is also a key hotspot for studying human history, as Indonesia served as an ancient crossroad of human migration, a crossroad for human movement for at least 50,000 years before present. People, I think we know already, live in mountainous and coastal area, a few in forests and some in villages, a few hunter-gatherers and many agriculturists, even a few are xenomads and great divers. The one that we talk about today. So that complex history of migration, admixture, isolation, and environmental pressure has led to culturally rich and biologically diverse population. All these lifestyle environmental pressures and also layered migration related to non-communicable disease present an opportunity to uncover important genetic variants related to diseases and environmental adaptation, many of which remain poorly characterized. We have been studying the genetics background of Indonesian population since decades ago, and at the Ekman Institute for Molecular Biology until now. The genomic study started on 2005 through Hugo Pan-Asian SNP Consortium using 50K autosomal SNP. It was published in 2009, followed by whole genome sequencing through Genome Asia 100,000 project and Indonesian Genome Diversity Project. So this is all of the maps of places that we have been studied so far. We have studied more than 100 communities. We have more than 5,000 samples. We have more than 3,000 human whole genome sequences data. So the migration wave, this is our journey from the west to east. Using uniparental data, mitochondrial DNA and Y chromosome, there are few schematic waves of migration into the archipelago, the out of Africa, 52,000 to 60,000 years. The complex mainland Southeast Asia into island of Southeast Asia, 30,000 years ago. The Austronesian dispersal from southern China and Taiwan into the archipelago and Pacific 5,000 years before present. Then historical traders from China, India, Middle East, 700 BC. Thus, this archipelago is melting pot of human admixture as far as 50,000 years ago. So this looks simple, but it's not. Advancing technology has given us additional data, and as mentioned by Pak James Fox, yes, this morning, it is very, very complex with backward and reverse migration as well. As mentioned, so we know that Indonesia comprises of three major genetic ancestry: Austronesian and East Asian, Papuan, and Afro-Asiatic, and minor later input from Arabic and China. So this is all the data that we can see through the genomics on the admixture of Indonesian population, and also the Papuan and Austronesian-like admixture on the right side of the back. A study that data that has been actually explained or carried out with the Hugo Pan-Asian SNP initiative in 2012. So now, why do we have to study the xenomates? This is very, very interesting for us, because we know that the origin of the Bajo have remained unclear. And there is a very rare lack of supporting genetic evidence. because we are coming from genetic part and human genetic, we would like to understand the physiology and genetics of human hypoxia tolerance, which is very important for medical implication. Overall, this is something that is more important than to understand new system of human adaptation to environmental condition. We know already, I think Ibu Nuraini is here, that there is no consensus on the origin of the Bajo. Nevertheless, 5 hypotheses have been proposed to explain different possible origin of the Bajo and their diaspora. For you all, my colleague, my friends, teman-teman semuanya, that before we study all of the ethnic population in Indonesia, usually we need information coming from anthropological point of view, archaeological point of view, geological, geography, many linguistic as well. So here, I think I don't have to share it with you, but I would like actually to remind you again, the Johor Princess hypothesis, the Sulu archipelago hypothesis, the Western hypothesis which suggests an origin in India and Arabia, the Pigafetta hypothesis which places the origin of the Bajo in Northwest Borneo. And the last one was the Southeast Borneo or Borneo origin based on modern linguistic evidence. So all of 5 hypotheses, I think maybe the Southeast Borneo hypothesis seems most well supported by multiple lines of evidence, including linguistic, historical, and paleo-environmental. So what we do then? This map showing the distribution of Bajo communities, the yellow one across island Southeast Asia. This is a very large population and many places that we could actually study. But for the preliminary study, we chose 3 sources. From Derawan, subject were surveyed for language affiliation, current residence, familiar birthplaces, and short genealogy of 4th generation to establish regional ancestry. So we studied with 47 saliva samples collected from 2 Bajo communities, Derawan and Kota Baru in southeastern Borneo, and from Kendari. We also collected samples from the Sami team in eastern Borneo and Bugis and the Mandar of southern Sulawesi, and also North Maluku as comparative population. Our results show that when we studied genetic variation of the 3 Bajo communities, the Derawan, the SDRW, the Derawan, the Kendari, and the Kota Baru, we show the results show that there is independent clustering and limited overlap between individuals from different Bajo communities. And that is very interesting if we look at the result that we have got. Clustering analysis show Bajo individuals clustered within each community. Like here, Kendari, Derawan, and Kota Baru, which is very close to neighboring other population. So, as mentioned, this is another part of a study carried out by Kusuma et al. That's the Bajo genetically closer to neighboring population, as mentioned above. The Rawan one, the Kota Baru, and also the Kendari. Both are located look closer to the neighboring population. So if we then we ask the question whether there is an admixture due to the historical reconstruction of the death of those three Bajo communities. First picture, first figure, this is the admixture of the Bugis with multiple population, including Malay, Filipinos, and Papuans, up to 1,600 years before present. Contemporary to the admixture of pre-Bajo Kendari by Bugis and Papuans around 1,750 years before present. On the right side, the expansion of the Sriwijaya Empire to the southeast Borneo triggered the dispersal of Bajo language, culture, and people in Mandar direction, including the southern Sulawesi and the Kendari, who assimilated them into its society. That was 1,106 years before present. If we look at it again on the figures, see that's the southern Sulawesi population subsequently migrated westward to southeastern Borneo, forming the Kota Baru community by admitting the local Banjar population, in addition to the Indian influences through the reigning Malay Empire around 1925 years before present. The northward migration formed the Dirawan community, which also admixed with local Malay and Filipino groups around 675 years before present. The influence of southern Sulawesi population, which is in the dash arrow, as shown here, is observed in both the of Kota Baru and Derawan Bajo. And the recent interaction, as mentioned before, between the three Bajo groups were maintained with different intensities until now. So this is all about that. This is the structure, the admixture that we could see looking at the Bajo here. There are composed of East Asian, Austronesian, and the Papuan, the red one, and minor Indian components. So as mentioned before, they actually really not overlapping between 1 and 2, but you have a different kind of recurrency of part of the source of our ancestry. So this result show that the mixture of 3 different kind of major ancestry with addition of the minor ancestry that I mentioned before. Because of the nature of the Ekman Institute that we worked before, that's actually working on the human genetics. And usually, if you talk about human genetics, there is association with the medicine or medical and health relationship. So it is very, very interesting actually to look at the selection and adaptation the point is to understand the physiology and genetics of human hypoxia tolerance, because it has a medical implication, but this kind of phenomenon has been investigated largely in high altitude human population, not the coastal, not underwater. So we have to explore how human actually who engage in breath-hold diving actually have the ability to do so. And beside that, it's not only about how to breath holding, but also underwater supervision. So
I'm sorry, Bu, 1 minute left.
Yes. Look at the genomic side. Bajo had undergone unique adaptation. We look at all of the genomic of variants of the remarkable motif that different with the others. There are about 25 and candidate variant that we can see that several genes is related to positive selections, which is indicating link with environment. This is about vision. This is also about seafood or fish diet. It's related to the variant, which is a good thing for them. So the conclusion is, although the Bajo were nomads, they have some strong affiliation with population where they settle. If some of Bajo language is originated in South Borneo, it's dispersed after the South Sulawesi expansion to South Borneo. Correct me if I'm wrong because I'm not a linguist or that, but this is more to the genetic data. Adaptation to sea-oriented lifestyle has left genetic mark to Bajo population that favor their diving activities, diet, and salt homeostasis involved related to hypertension, and the rest is unknown. So, but genomic, it's not everything. So we have to study more other omic, and it is still in progress. With this, I would like to thank the group at the Mohtar Riyadi Institute for Nanotechnology, and also our collaborator at Massey University, University of Toulouse, and University of the La Rochelle. Abu Chandra Nuraini is here with us, and others for the Indonesian Genome who support us on the Indonesian Genome Diversity Project. And this is show you all that great discovery and improvements invariably involve the cooperation of many minds. Thank you and enjoy your day.
Thank you very much, Professor Herawati Sudoyo. Really rich of data, and I believe there are many questions already. For instance, Dr. Maccabi, you can also read questions or 2 or 3 questions for you in the chat room, and Professor Herawati, there is already 1 question in the chat room, and then maybe we can respond later after the explanation from 2 other speakers. And now I invite Dr. Chandra Nuraini, our third speaker, as also mentioned by Professor Herawati before. Dr. Chandra Nuraini, she is a senior lecturer at La Rochelle University in France since 2009, a doctorate in ethno-linguistics, language and production of narratives in a Bajo community on the Kangean Island, Indonesia. She is currently part of Institut Français d'Indonésie, Restitution de Recherche sur Origines Culturelles Génétiques des Sama Bajo d'Indonésie. The general objective of the program is to strengthen transdisciplinary Franco-Indonesian cooperation in terms of ethno-linguistic and human genetics, and to disseminate the results of the project throughout Indonesia, particularly to the Bajo diaspora communities. Ethno-linguistics ethno-linguistic research is currently focused on the study of Bajo epics. And now, Dr. Chandra Nuraini, screen is yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Good morning. I would like to thanks before to Wenki and all to the team and also from BRIM to inviting me to participate this first international symposium of the Sea Nomad. And hello, Professor Herawati. Nice to meet you. So, tabe salah kudu kami mendanakan sama. Next, please. So today I'm going to describe briefly an oral tradition of the Bajo tribe, namely Iko-Iko, with the title Epic and Public Scene of the Bajo Community in Indonesia. But before I start with the oral tradition, let me tell a little bit about the diaspora and where I am researching. Next, please. So the Bajo have been nomadic on the sea for more than 1,000 years, as pointed out by Professor James Fox and Professor Greg and Professor Herawati this morning. So briefly, as I know, no one knows the place of the origin of the Bajo people. The origin of the Bajo people is still a mystery, even to the Bajo people themselves. The Bajo is the only ethnic group in Indonesia that does not recognize their homeland. Or rather, no one knows exactly where they traveled from and dispersed to where we find them today. Their myths about this are conflicting. It's not many information, but it's conflicting. The historians don't have much documentation about their origin before the pre-colonial period, so it's very difficult to find. Next, please. So with this map, I just only want to briefly show where the Bajo people live with their house and the place I have visited. Next, please. With some of this photo, I want to show some area or place how the Bajo people build their home. The unique of their house is always a house on stilts. As seen in the photo, is an example of the hundreds of settlement the Bajo people. This is in Wuring in Maumere. Next, please. Bajo people often live in the coral reef. Each house that stands on the water or reef is connected by the system of bamboo walkway or wooden bridge that connected from the house to house. Next, please. However, there are still many houses that are part of from village to far from village to village, from house to house. So they have to use a small canoe as a transportation tool. Next, please. An example of a house on steel built on sand. The area underneath the house is a shady spot that is used as a cozy place during the day. And another example is the photo that I borrowed from Nicole Rowell. She was lucky to meet the Bajo family in Sampurna, who were still living in the boat at the time. So all this picture, I just want to emphasize that shape and the location of the house that we can find in the content of the Iko-Iko story. Next, please. So now I would like to introduce you to the Bajo epic of the story of incredible adventure. For the Bajo seafaring community, oral literature is very important because it's easy to take with them on their travel. The Iko-Iko tradition, Sama Bajo, is unique from the oral storytelling that clearly bring heroic and fantastic adventure to life. The story often presents large-than-life characters, such as Bajo men, who manifest such virtual as courage, resilience, and loyalty. They blend myth and reality, weaving narrative or daring expedition encounters with pirates and voyages across the wide ocean. This epic tale are not just entertainment, they are living record of Sama Bajo history, value, and identity passed down from the generation to generation. So, can you come back now before, please? Yes, thank you. So, Iko Iko story, a song in a cappella with the Anchor story memoir. The story is in the form of rhythmic prose involving the narrative of the heroic adventure and marvelous escapade or peripecy, using language that is easy to understand, yet full of wordplay and many meanings. Next, please. So can you around the text? Yes, thank you. So the story are told in various important life events. Iko Iko are sung to the for celebrate the new house, boat launch, or wedding, circumcision, to comfort a sick person, to reminisce, or even a casual gathering after a day at the sea. The story in Iko Iko are consolidating force, reminding the Sama Bajo people of their common heritage and collective connection to the sea. For example, an Iko Iko story can run between 1 hour to 14 hours with several breaks. Next, please. So I will present some Bajo singer that I recorded different island in Indonesia. The singer of the Iko Iko chants usually lying relaxed on the floor or sitting, and the audience often sit next to and around the singer to listen. So in this picture, Swatnajan, the fisherman in the Kangean archipelago, he's already passed away a few years ago, and I'm really sad of it. So Wanajan is one of the most famous voice in the Iko Iko tradition, known for his ability to bring ancient story to life. Wanajan voice carries the weight of the history and tradition. His performances are highly emotional and laden with the spirit of the sea, which is central to the Sama Bajo of life. Next, please. So this is what Hussein is known for his dynamic presence and ability to weave the humor in the history. So he's a merchant in East Flores. Next, please. So Wanajan, his Haji, is known for his technical mastery in the Iko Iko style. His voice control, agility, and dramatic use of the silent create the atmosphere of the tension and the admiration. He is particularly skilled at illustrating the emotional depth of the story, often transforming a simple narrative to the powerful experience. The singers are not just performers, but also influential members of their community. They shape how the next generation of the Sama Bajo understand their history, identity, and cultural value. Through their art, they are helping to preserve the Iko Iko tradition and hope that it continue to survive. Each of them has their own unique style, ranging from the emotional depth to humor and technical precision, ending layer on the richness of the Iko Iko form. Next, please. So the Iko Iko, can you do the art? Yes, thank you. The Iko Iko tradition in Sama Bajo present their oral art from the rich with the vibrant sense of the lyrics, blending poetic imagery with clear description that engage the audience. The traditions balance seriousness with the humor, using witty dialogue and engaged character to capture the attention of the audience. Essentially, the storytelling is dramatic as the singer skillfully builds tension and releases it with an extending resolution, creating a captivating theatrical experience. Next, please. So in this map, I just would like to show that the three places that I can that I have found the eco. So unfortunately, they are already old, yes, and the young people are not interested in listening to this story anymore, and they are not interested in learning eco. Next, please. So in this page, I would like everybody to hear a little bit a small extract from eco. Can you please? Thank you.
Hiane ori namo kau nanayok nakaboe lumbok datu toraja iyo ma barata tuana ma bakadaline yok na sampe de baun tadatu baun arene masialus anak bayuan nuna yok na buluti kolok nu bakadah yok na kare ko ambangan anak aku dengitaka kabura-bura sarah bili yok masialus nanya salah kurinteh ne kodoh sialus nama ngalaan selan saloka namangan selamam bolo pikolo nadatu ngene nyayok nama lama ini Hariane anak tuku te one yok masialus Hiya nama mayu amul tikolon dia raman sialus dei.
Thank you. So the title of this Iko is Talili, sung by Wak Najan. So if we listen to the whole story, we can find the character in Iko. The hero is a naive and virtuous young man. The heroine is the enterprising young girl who needs help, and the hero parents, a humble father and a very strong mother. And the Mbo is an ancestral spirit, and the servant, usually it's a slave, and the pirate who got the well, and the captain is the hero rival. And the narrative, we can find the narrative structure. So here the disturbance is the heroine illness, and the cat is the hero, and the heroine initiatory journey to the pirate well to take a healing bath. And the trio is an equal battle with the pirate, but the heroine returned to village. Or the variant here we can find the rescue of one of more prisoner from the pirate, a rivalry with the captain of the heroine, and they have a love affair, duel and also duel with the captain. The sanction is a marriage of the hero and the heroine, or the hero is dead and the heroine loyalty. Next, please. So, can you roll? Yes. So, in almost all the content of the Iko story, I have find the hero with the characteristics of the hero is he's a poor guy, naive, and received by his mother, virtuous, courageous, and protected by his Mbo. And the opposite characteristic is the mother of the young girl who wants her to marry a rich man. And then the pirate, he's cruel and brutal. And the captain, he's rich, ugly, mocking, and cowardly, aggressive. So this heroic story of the Bajo people are generally defined by opposition. Next, please. Another, please. Next. Okay, thank you. So for conclusion, the eco tradition faced challenge due to the modern influence and urban migration, leading to its near extension. As more people move to the cities, the connection to the traditional art weakens, and younger generations show less interest in the preserving those performance. However, this decline offers an opportunity for revitalization by digitally archiving eco performance and engaging younger audience through the modern platform. We can help ensure it survival, preserving the cultural heritage identity of the Sama Bajo people. To conclude, I regret not being present a few years earlier to be able to meet more the singer and record many eco. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Chandra Nuraini. Wow, it's really wonderful from the folklore song traditions after we have really rich history and genetics, and before we have about the special knowledge of the Bajo. So that's why, Dr. Chandra, you can also address several questions to you that already written in the chat room. Now, last but not least, I will invite our last speaker in this session. He is Iwayan Veda Santiaji. He has spent more than 25 years of his life working on conservation of marine biodiversity in Indonesia. Starting as a university marine scientist, he later joined WWF in order to use his knowledge in the field. He has extensive work experience in close cooperation with local communities in Southeast Asia, educating them on the importance of marine protected areas for their livelihoods, teaching them conservation methods, and directly involving them in conservation activities. Such community-driven approaches have led to sustainable project results, with locals continuing conservation activities far after the completion of official conservation programs. Due to the aforementioned experience, he is a proficient dialogue facilitator between governments and local communities. And now, Pak Wayan Veda Santiaji, the screen is yours.
Terima kasih, Adrian. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, maybe in the other sides. In my presentation, I try to share my last 15 years work, especially in several marine protected area that somehow some places community of Bajo live within those marine protected area. I have to close my camera to ensure I can. So next, please. So I share here where is the coral triangle. This coral triangle is one of the important place for marine conservationists because this area consists of the important marine biodiversity. People who work in marine conservation now is looking for focusing our investment in this area from because they have more than 76% of the world coral species, 37% of the world coral reef species. Next, please. Yeah, anecdotally, there are some information regarding people who live in this region. There are more than 130 million, and then as an economic powerhouse to driving the blue economy from the fisheries sector and tourism sectors. Next, please. But in this region, we can see it's a phase of the changing climate and transboundary threat. So we urgently need to bend the curve on this nature loss to build the community resilience and strengthening the community mandate. You can see here in the picture how the plastic issue, the waste management, the lack of waste management in this region, encroachment of the mangrove area, expansion of the tourism, and the climate impact to the coral reef with the coral bleachings. Next, please. So in 2009, there is an initiative that we call the Coral Triangle Initiative for coral reef fisheries and food security, where the 66 country leaders from Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Papua New Guinea, Solomon Islands, and Timor-Leste working together to sustain the marine ecosystem, as well as to giving opportunity to addressing food security for people who live in this region. Next, please. Just launched the new regional plan of action from the 66 country that have two goals. One is in 2025, we are looking for the coastal community and coastal marine ecosystem in order to cope with the impact of climate change, natural and anthropogenic threats, as well in the next 2030. And they expect the coastal community and coastal marine ecosystem in this region are more resilient. And I highlighted the improving food security, sustainable fisheries, and coastal livelihood. Next, please. But we realized too, some paper studies in context of this symposium to addressing about the Baju community issues. There are studies that explain about how 1.1 million Baju communities living in this region. And there is, I missed that Kusuma studies in 2017, showcasing how the distribution of the Baju community in this region. Next, please. So as a marine conservationist working with several organizations, we have come up with a reference how the marine protected area should be developed to securing the fisheries livelihood and food security. There is a theory of change that have explained in this reference that we mostly try to adopt. Next, please. And there's the element of social equity more promote now recent years in marine conservationists in the context how we can bridging between the community who live in this region. Next. And yeah, there are long reference that mostly the people who work in marine conservation, but they work mostly with the coastal community, adopt this tool too. So this three is like our references when work in enhancing the marine protected area and securing the coastal community who live in this area. Next. So I would like to bring my case where I worked since 2002 in one of marine park in Indonesia. At that time, we are invited by the Ministry of Forestry to help to revisit their management plan as well as their zoning plan to have that can improve their management effectiveness. There are some missions that we collected from the Wakatobi National Park Authority at the time. And then how we starting our work there, I would like to explain on the next slide. Next. We observe if it's not like in several marine protected area in Europe or in Canada. In Southeast Asia, mostly our marine protected area, there are a lot of inhabitants living in this area. Like Wakatobi, there are more than 88,000 people who live in this marine park. And from the 64 villages in Wakatobi, 5 of them are Bajo communities village that consist of Mola Utara, Mola Selatan, the sub-village from Hurud, from Mantiquela, Samabari, and Lamanggal. And we can see there how intensive resources are in the marine coastal biodiversity. Is live and work for the seaweed farming, and fishing practice, basically using net, cleaning, and all the activity on those 4 islands. Next, please. And then from our assessment, we identify what's the main problem in this park management plan. So why they then need to revisit the management plan? Because at the time, there's a lack of comprehensive field information, the socioeconomic, the bioecological, biophysics as a basis for the management plan. There is a weak constituency support from the community because they lack of awareness. There's a lack of capacity of the park staff since mostly come from the forest unit. There are limited competency on the marine and the socioeconomic. And then overlapping, fishing ground with the conservation target area and resource users that I explained before. There are 88,000 people who live and depends on directly to the coastal and marine resources. Next. And there are specific study with the Bajo community. There are 3 main issues that they highlight. The first is destructive fishing net. They are still using explosive, dynamic fishing, and there are still people who can see how the law enforcement from the park manager or park is inconsistent. So it's reducing support by constituent to the park. And then surveillance within the park is not conducted frequently and effectively. So it's reducing trust and respect from visitors to the park staff. Another issue is resource use and conservation target ecosystem still overlap because as you know, some of the Bajo community try now recent years to live in the land. So they build their own land using the coral that they mining from the coral ecosystem. And then the zoning system at the time is not comply based on their perception with their daily activity. Next, please. I just explain this. Next. Yeah. So if you observe here, show is a highlight on the yellow. It's the previous zoning system of national park, where the core zone, the wilderness zone, and rehabilitation zone is the area where the community intensively fishing on this zone. So how then we can see the effectiveness of management if the core zone, where the no-take area, there are a lot of fishers still fishing on those zone, and as well as the wilderness and rehabilitation zone. So next, please. So we try to revisit the zoning system in Wakatobi National Park. We spent 5 years working to have a cycle of this activity. You can see how we starting with the collecting as much as data from the biophysics studies by survey and monitoring, outreach, and then we bring all this information together on the public consultation discussion with any relevant scientists, academician too, and coastal community who live there. So we come up with a new zoning system there. Next, please. You can see here, it's the old zoning system. The red area is the core zone. Is more than 45% of the area is core zone, where the people who can, ideally or theoretically, they cannot access this area because it's no tool and no tech area. And even blue area too is another, it's wilderness zone where they can still grow, but they cannot extract any marine resources on this area. And then after the consultation, we come up with a new zoning system. Next, please. Yeah, so in this new zoning system, there are a lot of changes. This zoning system, it's the trade-off. We try to accommodate mostly the community needs and local government for the development purpose. You can see here the red or the core zones is only the small area right below, and the blue, it's the marine conservation zone. There are several in the reef mostly, and the brown is the local utilization zone. So it's an exclusive access for the local community as well as the 5 Bajo village can fishing in this area. So they don't have to compete with the commercial industrial fishing, because the industrial fishing only can fishing on the yellow part. It's a multi-use zone that pelagic fishers both can fishing to that area. Next, please. So you can see in the new zoning system, the core zone, marine conservation zone, and tourism zone is the no-take area. There is only 3.15% from the previous 45%. We're reducing a lot of the protected or the core zone or the non-extractive area to allow the coastal community who live in the area to improve their fishing practice. Next, please. But then we have to check if this new zoning system is still can contribute on the conservation purpose. So in this slide, you can see after a new zoning system 2007, we observed the trend of the coral reef ecosystem health since 2009 to 2016. You can see here on the left matrix, the hard coral cover can still stable, and the fish abundance is improved, and the fish biomass is improved too. There are a gap of information or data because we have enough funds at that time to do series of study. But then using this reference, we try to convince the department managers if the new zoning system still contribute to the conservation objective of the park, because we want to accommodate local fishers need still to protect the marine biodiversity in this area. But we focusing only on the target conservation target. We identify the conservation target, so the deep sea, where the previous zoning system put on the core zone, now becoming the utilization zone. Next, please. Yeah, so we can see, but the fishing income is fluctuative. Even they still have more population of fish, there's more abundance of fish, but somehow collecting from our partner in budget communities, three fishing communities, Mitra Suno, Sanikami, Bersinas, work with us to share their information since 2017, still work until now. You can see how productive they are fishing income. Next. So how then we to address this issue? With three research group that we worked since 2011, 2015, and 2017. Those three research group agreed to build the ports cooperation in Molaraya. It's a Bajo cooperation because they want to improve their unpredictable fishing income. They have the new business unit. The mission is a scaling up research to business, capacity building for the operation for the managers and members, expands their market access, and improving the quality of it. How they work? We work together. Next slide will show you the picture.
Yeah, Pak. The time is running out.
Jump. This next. Yeah, so the improvement mostly on the financial management of the organization. And next. Business diversification. Next. So learning from DEXA experience, we try to scaling the competitiveness to Coral Triangle region. So we promote now in the 66 country to have the peer learning exchange between the MPA managers to adopt this case study, and then we promote on the peer learning exchange. Okay, I have to stop. There is one video that I want to share how we starting to bring this to the Sempurna. Next. There's a video. This is a youth community in Sempurna that we starting work recently.
Saya berbangsa Bajau. Pulau ini adalah rumah saya yang disekelilingi laut. Kami sudah tinggal di sini dari generasi ke generasi, dan karena itulah saya mahu melindungi lautan. 15 tahun lalu, batu karang di Pulau Mabul sangat besar, cantik, dan disebabkan pengemboman ikan dan mengarang. Dulu saya mengarang, bongkar batu karang tuh sebab saya tidak tahu apa-apa lagi kan. Pemimpin iklim Pulau Mabul dianjurkan dengan Green Sampurna, WWF, dan lain-lain lagi NGO, dorang bagi kami pengalaman betapa pentingnya menjaga koral tuh. Sekarang nih kami menanam batu karang di sekitar yang kawasan terancam. Dan hasil dia, wah, mengejutkan. Best lah, saya macam lepas kami diving nampak koral yang besar. Wih, banyaknya ikan. Macam gembira sangat. Sangat gembira. Okay. Sebab ada juga lah orang cakap, dia bilang lelaki cakap tuh, mana boleh perempuan menyelam. Saya cakap lah, kenapa pula tidak boleh sedangkan kamu pun boleh. Udah 3 tahun saya diving, lebih dari 100 sudah dive saya. Saya sangat bangga dengan diri saya sendiri karena dapat begitu banyak dive lah. Sebelum saya, tiada sudah dalam keluarga saya untuk join menyelam untuk menanam koral. Dan sebenarnya adik-adik saya pun minat juga. Insya Allah kalau ada lagi support, kami akan teruskan lagi program kami ini untuk menanam batu karang lah. Ya, laut sangat bermakna untuk kami karena laut adalah sumber pendapatan kami. Dan bukan hanya untuk sumber pendapatan kami juga, laut ini adalah tarikan pelancongan dan untuk juga hewan-hewan di laut yang di sekitar Pulau Mabul. Orang kampung pun tiada tempat pembuangan sampah, jadi dorang hanya bakar sampah ataupun buang ke laut sebab tiada tempat pengumpulan sampah di Pulau Mabul. Saya buat PET ini supaya mengurangkan pembuangan PET ke laut karena banyak betul PET di laut, tidak kira di laut ataupun di darat. Saya pergi diving pun ada juga PET. Mama saya tiada sudah, tapi bapak saya selalu support saya. Apa-apa program dia suruh saya join saja. Kalau boleh lah dia bilang, saya mau juga menanam batu karang tuh sama-sama dengan kau. Dia bilang, nah. Tapi dia bagi saya semangat, teruskan perjuangan kamu menanam batu karang, teruskan menjaga pulau. Lebih bagus lagi dia bilang, kalau kamu ramai lagi, panggillah cousin kah, kawan kah untuk jaga pulau sama-sama lah dengan dia. Nah, impian terbesar saya supaya orang-orang kampung dapat join menanam koral, menjaga batu karang, menjaga pulau, dan generasi akan datang supaya cucu-cucu anak-anak dapat juga lihat batu karang yang ditanam lah oleh nenek-nenek dorang, oleh kami semua. Sangat gembira lah untuk menanam batu karang ini.
Yeah, thank you very much for the video, Pak Veda, and your
Thanks.
presentation. And now, it's already done for every speakers in the session. And if you also already can read, there are many questions that need to be addressed. I will maybe to be quick response, we'll go back to Dr. Makibi. Perhaps you can start to respond, and then one by one, if there is response from the question, the people who question, and that they can raise hands, and then we can directly having a conversation. Dr. Makebi, can you respond the question for you?
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, maybe my explanation is not so clear, but thank you very much for your question. Firstly, Pak Hendra, the first one is according to the villagers, the first case was a residual bullet. Bom sisa zaman Belanda, ya, from the Dutch colonial periods, and maybe another groups dismantled them and provided them to Samabaja people. And after that was the bom sisa was exhausted, agricultural fertilizers like now were traded for materials. And about the second question from Pak Hendra, actually today I mentioned about the cognitive maps and the spatial classification of handline fishermen. So I'm sorry, I don't know about bomb fishermen because I haven't done this kind of research on them. But in my opinion, the fact that this kind of empirical knowledge is not required is one of the reasons why dynamite fishermen is so popular among young fishermen. So maybe they don't know about that. And the second, do the Bajo people in different sites are at least some basic navigation vocabulary, folk term such as lana and tuko. I confirmed in almost all of Sulawesi, like Toli-Toli or Kendari and Selayar. And in Flores, Maluku, there are also same words, but I still cannot discuss about this point because is it by distribution of the Sulawesi dialect of Samabaja language, or by because of its social network or the geography and the environmental characteristics? Actually, I cannot discuss now, but this is very important question. Thank you. And the third one, during your field works in Banggai Island, Central Sulawesi, illegal fishing. Yes, thank you so much. I think the problem of illegal fishing in their community is not only related to policies for small scale fisheries, but also to serious issues such as economic structures among them. So some of the children, some of the fishermen's children now enter even to university. So their parents, fishermen, of course, want enough income to support their families, especially for children. So they want low cost and high return and reliable catches, So especially now the fuel prices are really increased. So these structures is certainly in many areas not only in Sulawesi, but also all of the Indonesian, I think, including Banggai Islands. That's all from me. Thank you.
We can hear you.
Mas Adrian muted.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Makibi Nakano. Actually, I also have many questions also to follow up, but we are going forward first to Professor Herawati. Do you want to respond? I think there is really interesting comments in the chat room, Professor Herawati.
Thank you very much. I have a question from Pak Greg, who asked me whether the independent clustering and lack of overlap provide evidence that Bajo identity is not descent-based, but accommodating identity that people of various descent is joining. So my answer is yes, that's probably the case. However, we know already that they also have longer identity by descent, DNA, because we can see that their DNA fragment is shared between individuals that have same ancestor. So it's both that. And also, yes, the admixtures with local people where they stayed, but also share similar ancestor. But unfortunately, that we haven't actually estimated when they started to diverse. I think after this meeting, we okay, there is something that we haven't actually continued the Bajo. And I think maybe in the future, we are going to actually spread our activity to more sources, places from different islands. I say thanks. Thank you very much, Pak Greg.
Okay, thank you, Professor Herawati. Now turning to Dr. Chandra, you have also many questions to be addressed.
Thank you. So firstly, I want to answer the question from Pak Beni Baskara. So I think if there is a recording and we can writing the eco and then we can use as an asset to continue the oral tradition for those who want to learn. That's only idea that's I think now. And for Fazila Mazid, what the question about the photo, well, they are not sleeping. They are singing and always lying down for singing, or sit down. But they are lying down, and of course agree to be photographer because he's he know that I work for regarding the conserving the eco. And then of course I do not take people dead people. It's impossible. Yes, this is they are singing but laying down. So I hope I can you can take my my explication. And for Pradip Jati, how I don't know how to spell. I'm sorry. For Datu, yes, it's refer to local rules. It's mean the noblest men, noble men. And the word from Toraja does not refer to the Toraja people in Sulawesi. Yeah, to it's mean person or orang in Indonesia. Raja, it's mean hulu or uphill, down sounds from uphill. So it's mean also this if you find the word Toraja, it's mean also pirate or enemy. That's all. In the history of the Iko, of course, there are many refer to the Toraja. It's mean the enemies who come to attack or to have any richest thing to store. Yeah, that's all.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Chandra. Now, Pak Veda, I think you are already writing your response, but if you want to have a direct conversation, please, you can respond.
Yeah, thank you, Pak Adrian. Thank you for your question, Fadzila Majid. We know it's not easy to work when you can not get trust from the community. So that's why we try now to improving the way our colleagues to work with, especially for the budget community, as we somehow cannot directly as WWF, as a conservation organization, identical with the government who enforce on the encroachment, destructive fishing. So that's why somehow we try now work with the local organization like Women Pemadal Island organization, with the Green Sampurna and others local organization that can easily more get buy-in or get trust from the budget community. But it's still a long way comparing what we have done in Southeast Sulawesi. But we believe we try now to promote more peer-to-peer learning between the budget community and one place to another place to get more buy-in from them. Thank you.
Thank you. Before maybe I ask Abu Fazila or many others to have a response, a follow-up response, maybe there is also one more or maybe two in the chat room to Dr. Makabi and yeah, Dr. Makabi first. Maybe you can respond to a question in the chat room from Nur Isyana.
Okay. Okay.
Or maybe I can, yeah, if you
Yeah.
have
Thank
you
you
read
very
it, yes.
for question, Ibnul. Actually, there are a few things that are interesting about Samabaja woman, and I would like to introduce one a case. They collect shellfish by hand and sometimes by foot. And for example, the teenager.
Decades, and we're now bringing that concept together.
Is that okay? Yeah.
Please,
Sometimes
go ahead.
the teenagers usually walk in the intertidal zone, Sapa or other area, and catch some shellfish. And also older women, ibu-ibu, usually in the blackish waters on the mangrove, and they mostly dive to pick the shellfish up. So maybe the cognitive map or the traditional ecological knowledge of among Samabaja women is maybe different with other groups, or I mean handline fishermen. So here is the how to say the new topic for Samabaja maritime culture, I think. Thank you for your great question. Oh yeah, Nuba.
Yeah, thank you. Now, for the response directly in the chat room and the conversation. Now, I have one more response from Professor Francois Robert about the Iko. I think it's to Dr. Chandra, right?
Yes. I don't see the question.
The question basically in the I have recorded eco. Maybe I invite Professor Farquhar if you want to ask directly your question. You are still unmute. Can you unmute yourself?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
I mentioned that during my first mission, my first field work, I recorded the Ikiko. Bajoda used to say Ikiko or Iko, but usually Iko. But during my recording time, the man was not laying. And the meaning of the Ikiko is very, very far from what you describe. It's the Ikiko, it's a lullaby. It's a lullaby dongen. It's a dongen that the grandmother used to sing to the grandson or granddaughter for sleeping. And it is a marvelous story, not with pirates or fighting, and no, it's a story between Kembar twins and the mother. Of course, there is a mother as person central, but the mother is a bad person. So I'm not going to tell all the Ikiko, but I can, if you like, make you heard some note about Ikiko, if you want.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Alamagadaru sanginda bagai tabelo sangka masih yalah daga dita ya malama sangka masih kita nane bagai.
Okay. Just a few parts of this region. And Bajo people used to hear the Ikiko until crying when they hear this lullaby. Just what I want to say, just in reaction with your.
Yes. Thank you. Well, it's mean no. I think it's very very large style of story. It's depend where they live, you know. So they put the story it's no, I mean it's they arrange the story. Is it for this for party or for the baby or for the child for sleeping? So they arrange the story inside of the Iko. That's I want to say to you. So it's I think it's the one that you have. It's special for the young children. But I have another. I have several Iko that's very very nice story for the night before the marriage, you know, so for the adult person. So it's depend, I think, the title of the story. And in the inside of the story, it's more a love story, and then the other it's bargaining because it's in the sea. So that's the variant that I have in for the Iko.
just one few words, if I can.
Yeah, 1 minute, Professor Pongo.
30
Please.
seconds.
Okay.
Now, I think maybe the various style of maybe, I don't know, but what I want underline is that in this version, there are very many words about places, territory, and connect with the story of the Baggio. It means that this version could be what we used to call in anthropology the myth of origin of the Baggio.
Okay, thank you very much. I think we can continue. I'm afraid that we are approaching the end of the session and even the conference. But really, thanks. Maybe for sure, I don't have anything to conclude, but yeah, I'm sure that it's just only the first international symposium of the Baggio. And then I wish, and we wish, I think, for everyone here, that we can continue this kind of conversation in the following years to come. So I think thank you very much again, Dr. Makabi, Professor Herwati, Dr. Chandra, and Pak Veda, Sandaja, and all response and participants who are still with us until the end of the session. And I'm Adrian Perkasa. I'm stopping and back to the host, Mbak Bunga. Now I'm back to you. Thanks again and have a good day, everyone.
Thank you so much, Adrian, for moderating the 4 sessions. And of course, thank you for the speakers for all the explanations. Well, we are arrived at the end of sessions. But before, let me remind you to don't forget fill the attendance list. And for your information, all the participants may download the e-certificate template on the chat room by this Zoom. We already shared the link and you may download the certificate. Well, coming up to the end sessions, so I'd like to invite Dr. Dedi Aduri, also Prof. Dr. Ahmad Najib Burhani, both are from BRIN, to give such an closing remarks as to sum up this meeting. So please, Pak Dedi Aduri, also Pak Najib, time is yours.
Terima kasih Mbak Bunga. Saya dulu ya, Mas Najib. Before Mas Najib close our symposium, let me give you some. It's a wrap-up note, but also more on the future plans of our. Okay. Yeah. So we have covered in these 4 sessions the history and comprehension of Sinomads migration, settlements, and sociocultural characteristics, innovations, art, and oral history, and so many other things. I think that is a reach of discussion on that part. We have also discussed issues on set identities and divisions within the Sinomads, loss of identity in some part of the Sinomads communities, Sinomads and its relations with the sea, marginalizations and agencies of the Sinomads in response to pressures from outside particularly, but also vulnerabilities and resilience, government policies, and also some recommendations, for example, a call for government acknowledgement, empowerment, and alternative development approach to address the marginalizations of the Sinomads, loss of identity, and others negative conditions that are faced by the Sinomads. We see also some voices or heard some voices of possible future collaborations and connections, networking of various individual institutions. In fact, I'm so happy to follow the chats in our rooms. A lot of discussion among you, and I believe this is a good signs that you are already connected and will continue the connection, sharing the knowledge, and also discussing future collaborations. We, of course, are also planning, but we have had no certain future long-term plan for our future activities. But let me share you the coming events that, in fact, is a kind of a continuation of our symposiums. So these are the sets of events that we are organizing for the whole of the SEAnomads festivals and all symposium, as well as congress and festivals. Yeah, so we have Sandex sales from Majene to Banggai. It was started already, and in fact, we are having the final destinations in Luwuk when we are arriving there, and I mean the Sandex sales, and we'll have a welcoming ceremony for the Sandex to arrive in Luwuk. We have had already discussions, policy discussion in Thailand, and now we are having the symposiums. So this material will be brought to Luwuk for the congress that will be held between 11 to 15. So next several days, we will have also some Bajo cultural exhibitions. We are giving an opportunities for the Bajo people to express their interest, their cultural heritage in our events, and there will also be cultural festivals. So just to give some information of these events, so the Sandex sales is actually a way of tracing the roots of the Bajo communities from Majene to Banggai. The Sandex stop at several points and have some discussions with the local Bajo communities. This is events in the Thailand. I mentioned earlier the policy discussions. This is also reunions in Thailand, Chai Lai reunion in Thailand, also discussing. This is more or less, I guess, a meetings of the SEAnomads in Thailand, and this is our event today. And as I mentioned, we will have a Congress of Bajo, or meetings of the Bajo people, where we have invited 28 delegates from 14 provinces in Indonesia, and 18 delegates from Central Sulawesi. We have also invited and also collaborate with 8 NGOs who are going to have a discussions with the people of the Bajo. So in the Congress, we are going to more or less actually discuss the same things as we discuss in this symposium, but we are giving a forum for the Bajo people to voice their own interest, to explain their own experience in regard to the issues that we are discussing today. And we are also having a dialogue between NGOs and the communities, which is discussing their interactions particularly in NGOs programs and activities, and also bringing lessons learned from other area to be used for the interaction of the NGOs with the communities once they have collaborations activities in the sites that they are working on. Lastly, we are going to also try to kind of look at the community network mapping, future movement and action plan. So these are I think the most important discussions by which the Bajo people are given their space to express themselves there are also some other activities in completions of this event. So, for example, there are some cultural activities and workshop of Sama Bajo in Jaya Bhakti Village. There are some expedition materials. So the delegates that we invited from 14 provinces, we asked them to bring the cultural items that they have and to be shown in the exhibitions that we are organizing also in Banjo. We will have cultural performances, giving their room to express the art and other performance. So that's all the activities that we are going to have in Lubuk between the 11th to the 15th. So again, as ends of my closing remark here, I would like again to thank you to all of you, the collaboration institutions, of course to Kementerian Kebudayaan Republik Indonesia, to all presenters. I'm very much appreciate your presentations, not only because of reach of the informations, but also the fact that you are willing to present your studies in this very symposium with a short notice. Thank you for all, and see you all in Lubuk for those who are joining us, or see you in a future symposium or other SINOMAD initiative. Thank you very much. I gave Pak Najib to continue the closing the symposium. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Dedi. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat sore semuanya, Bapak Ibu. Salam sejahtera untuk kita semuanya. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Ahmad Najib Burhani. I'm the chairman of the Institute of Social Sciences and Humanities at the National Research and Innovation Agency, Badan Riset dan Inovasi Nasional, BRIN. This agency availed itself in supporting the deliberation of the first SINOMAD symposium and actively built confidence among researchers, SINOMAD communities, government agencies, and public on the importance of the subject of SINOMAD. And also BRIN has a very specific approach, i.e. utilization of research, especially a bottom-up one to approach the subject, including SINOMAD. For BRIN, this is the second time, actually, after BRIN held an open forum, also this year, on the subject. And I'm happy to report that from this open forum, we are able to contribute in meaningful way to this first SINOMAD symposium. Though research is not only a way to approach the subject of SINOMAD, research is important to help different actors and audience in the field of SINOMAD to be patient in looking into how a bottom-up process comes to life. We discuss scope and implication of our research. This process perhaps takes time in bearing result, which will be adequately reflects different point of views, points of research, and different life experiences. Please kindly bear with this process. Excellencies, presenters, and also participants who are still stay here until this evening. I would like to thank the Indonesian Ministry of Culture, Kementerian Kebudayaan Republik Indonesia. The role of this ministry is important to provide a good basis for a symposium to come alive, and serving as a good meeting point for researchers, SINOMAD communities, and public. I stand ready to be with the ministry to provide necessary collaboration for the research and for the recognition of SINOMAD. I'm also grateful to all presenters, your generosity in availing your time and works, making this symposium becoming an important launchpad to SINOMAD as subject of research and as reality of a difficult reality in front of our very eyes. You put the research and implication of research as contribution and contestation, This is, in essence, a very important role of research. I'm also thanking the Royal Netherlands Institute of Southeast Asian and Caribbean Studies, KITLV, Andaman Pilot Project, SINOMED Contact Groups, and also Samdana Institute. Each of you and together set a strong foundation for mutual collaboration among different actors, entities, and point of views. This symposium is necessary to be here for all of us to understand more about SINOMED. I'm aware that there are several pressing issues relating to SINOMED, and I'm happy to always be involved in this discussion and also symposium and other activities. To Danakang, brothers and sisters of Sama Bajau communities and SINOMED's communities of Southeast Asia, your life is a testament of how our interconnection growing over the period of ages. The nomadic and semi-nomadic way of your life have many challenges. I value the contribution of this symposium and gathering of Sama Bajau in responding to these challenges. I would especially plead to your Danakang to welcome our uniqueness and diversity in your own community. Your life is so rich in diversity, and this should be welcome. Be kind to each other and bring all Danakang to our prayer to God Almighty and to our dedication to our sea and island. Again, thank you all, and we will work more for this, and I believe we can find more wonderful collaboration in the near future. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Well, so those remarks as well as we close this International Symposium on SINOMED in Southeast Asia. Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the committee, once again, we thank you so much for all the speakers, all the moderators, participants, Collaborator Institute for having us. We are so sorry if there is something unpleasant. Till our next discussions, and see you in the next event in the Sama Bajau Festival on 11 to 15 December 2024. So have a good day. Thank you. Terima kasih.
Terima kasih semua. Mbak Bunga, terima kasih juga.
Terima kasih, Pak Dedi.
Thank you.
Mas Najib.
Terima kasih Danakan, Memon.
Terima kasih, Mas Dedi, Pak
Terima
Nur.
kasih Bu Rewati,
Pak
ketemu
Najib.
lagi di sini.
Iya.
Makasih Pak Dedi.
Bu Herawati, kita
Ya,
ketemu
terima
lagi
kasih
di
semua ya.
Indonesia.
Yuk, ketemuan.
Izin pamit semua.
Iya Mbak Hera.
Terima kasih.
Danakan.
Ayo ke Luwuk.
Iya, pengen.
Pak Profesor, terima kasih.
Pak Dedi, terima kasih.
Terima kasih semua ya.
Izin pamit.
Ya, sampai nanti jumpa di Luwuk.
Ya.